let's jump straight into Monday. When you first log in to Monday, you're going to see a screen similar like this. So a replacement of your email inbox and where everything is here. So at the moment, you'll see the CEO of Monday.com, Roy, because I've just done a quick sign up to a demo because it is so easy, just like you guys would have for this demo, for this webinar, sorry. And it's just going to say anything that is tagged or chatted through here, you'll be able to come up. You can clear the updates in here just simply by pressing the tick. At the moment, I've reached the beautiful place of 0 inbox. I wish my Gmail was 0 at the moment too. But of course, if you need to get back and have a look at that, all updates are here. And you can, of course, see that and bring that back in to be open and clear that back out. What's really important with Monday is we break it up into these 3 different areas. So when you're looking at that, we're talking about the simplicity of folders, boards, groups, pulses, and updates. And I'm going to take you through all of those in just a moment. But let's start over the left here with cleared inbox. We're going to talk about boards. So the 3 type of boards which you have here in Monday is first of all your boards, which we'll talk about. They're visible to everybody. Everybody is working in the same area, and you can see, and they can see those boards if they choose to. This is obviously the fundamental part of what most organizations use Monday for. So I've just created some dummies here, which I'll take you through in a moment. But quite simply, everybody in your organization can see boards. We have shareable boards. Again, this is what we use this for the external people in your organization. So guests or external users or some of your clients or your freelancers or your contractors or maybe some of your designers, but only people obviously that you invite to them. So you have still full control over shareable boards, but these boards here are, you decide who sees what versus the boards up here, which is only internal to your organization and is visible across the organization. Whereas shareable boards, you can decide who sees what. Right down to private boards. Of course, sometimes there is only internal things that you want seen. And again, you can control exactly who sees what in a private board. Some people use this for simplicity of, for me, for example, I use this every time I onboard a new staff member. So I have a new staff member in here and I have my process, which I go through, but obviously that's only relevant to me and maybe someone in our HR team. And that's all that we would generally use private boards for. But you have that real ability to lock that down. It's only internal. And it is impossible for anybody that hasn't been invited to see what is in your private board. So as I said, there is different types of things. Quite simply in Monday, you're going to start with a folder, which is in a board, which has a group, which has a pulse. And that's the language we're going to start with here. So here, what we're looking at here is a board. It's start from scratch is the title of this board. Something simple. We've got some different rows here where you've got a group sitting here. Board, this is our board. This is our group. This is our pulse. And we'll come into here into updates in a second. But quite simply, it's very easy to simply add in a new row. We can add it in manually. We can move it between different things. We'll come to that again in a second. But the great part is, say we need to add a new board. Let's look over here. We can add a new folder. So I've put these particular boards into the webinar folder. But let's just say we're going to have a new board here, which is Happy Monday. You can use some of these amazing templates that are already here for you in Monday. Monday.com. There's different ones from a freelancing to sales consultants to HR consultants to manufacturers, startups, real estate venture capitalists, or we can make our own. But again, there's so many different features associated with this, and I'm about to take you through a pulse in a second. But the template is a high-level board. It's really easy. It helps everybody be in a single project board, and we have that great ability to see overall. Let's just, for fun, let's just put this one in for now. I've already created a new board. Happy Monday is the board we've created. We're talking here about an employment recruitment process. So Mitchell in my team, for example, I'm going to make him responsible for Steve Jobs. They've applied for the position of a product manager. In this example, we've got the CV, it's gone. We've had a phone interview, and Steve's been lucky enough to get a personal interview. So you can see that it's scheduled here. I can click here and simply change the status of this pulse, depending on what it is in here. Again, we'll come back to defaults on that in a second. But a pulse is this whole line along here. It gives us a great overview of exactly what it is. Let me go back to a start from scratch one, for example. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to take you through now all of the different columns. and why each of them have such a unique value to you. Obviously, the person one, pretty self-explanatory. You can simply select a person in your team to allocate them to a particular pulse. That person, depending on your email settings, is going to get a notification to say, hey, you've been assigned to row 1. The status column, working on it, stuck or done, just doesn't do it for me. I'm just going to change it to to anything. I can make it happy about it, not happy about it, excited about it, for example, or anything we like. We can customize the color, we can customize which order they appear. We have full customization of status, and you might use this status column twice. You might have one column which talks about how much you enjoy row 1. Do you enjoy sitting in row 1? Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm not so happy being in row 2 because I don't like being second, or whatever it may be. And then you may use the exact same thing again, only this time in status, we're talking about whether we have completed the cleaning. Have we cleaned row 1 already? Yeah, it's done, but we're stuck on row 2 because unfortunately there was more of a mess than we anticipated, and we're moving on to row 3 now. Again, a very visual process. You can customize all of the colors. You can customize everything in there. The text column, quite simply used for a magnitude of different reasons. You can add little examples on the front and the back of it, which plus tick. You can search by them, which is one of the great values of this. But just say we might be talking about anything. You can put text in here. You can put addresses in here. The text column is often very useful to helping people search for different terms. And again, bringing those pulses up when you come back to them later. The person column we've already been through. The timeline. So again, one of the biggest advantages of Monday is the complete visual nature of the platform. And the visual nature of the platform is what sets Monday apart. And then when we're looking at searching, we can be looking for that so much more. So what I'm going to do here is set some form of timeline. Now I can see this is a 4-day one, but that's not long enough. I need to stretch row out to an 8-day process. Whereas now I need to, look at row 2, saying, I can probably start that a little bit later. As you can see here, it's showing us exactly who is responsible for these different things. But maybe that's not what I want to. Maybe I want to see who's excited by what's happening, what's been done, who's not happy. So I'm going to see their enjoyment level. I'm going to see their cleanliness level. So I can completely redesign this timeline. It's a really simple, effective way to replace like a Gantt chart for those in the project management space. Visual, obvious to see, and is really easily mapped and put through there. Moving on to the date, again, this might be a due date. When is this task due? Again, really helpful for when we're searching and running a semi-report later on to say what's there. And the benefit of this, again, this does synchronize into your Google Calendar, for example, and it can be an easy way of tracking in your own calendar as well as in the Monday platform, exactly where you're up to and exactly what you're hoping to achieve in the process. But again, you can put any type of date there. Again, the searching in Monday is what sets it apart. And now I could add tags so that when I'm doing my searches, I might be adding tags for many different reasons. I might be saying, whatever it may be. And then later on, when I'm searching for my tags, I can just bring up any pulse that is associated with that tag. Really, really simple. And likewise, numbers. Numbers is fantastic. We're able to, put in here, let's say it's 20, and then all of a sudden it's going to total up down the bottom here. But we also have the amazing ability to change that. So you might want to put in your local currency. You might want to type in your own. You might want to have it on the left or the right of the indicator. You can place that wherever you so desire, and you might want to change the function of the calculation. So you might want to know, say we're talking about a sales process, what's the average transaction of our opportunity? You might want to have that as an average. You might just want to have the total amount. You might want to have both. What's the median? What's the minimum? What's the maximum? How many opportunities do I have? Whatever it may be. Again, you have the immense ability to customize all of those opportunities. All right, we're going now. I can see some people are coming in questions, which is wonderful. We'll keep those and we'll go through a Q&A at the end. But if you do have one, feel free to place it in there. But that's the simplicity of that. And you can, use those different columns to fit your process. Again, If I jump to a different one, what have we got here? We've got the staff management process, for example, where we're looking at 3 individual processes associated with the staff member. We're able to move and relocate those columns and those pulses. Let's say we're coming in here. I want to take you through the updates component now. Again, a really, really valuable part of this communication. This is what's going to reduce your email traffic. This is what's going to make it a lot easier for you to be able to get through the process of that. For example, I can come in here and say, I've called and booked interview. So instead of emailing everybody else, or instead of forgetting whether I've done that or not, I now have that ability in there. I've got the knowledge there. So you can now see a little 1 has come up on the pulse to say that there is some updates to the pulse. But I might also say, you know, I need someone to book the meeting room for me, so that I'm able to have my interview with Steve Jobs. And to do that, you know, I need to make sure it's done. So I'm going to make that a checklist, which is a really wonderful additional part of that. So now you'll see outside of here on the pulse, there's a little, at the moment, it's grey checklist. It's a grey little tick saying that this pulse has got something which we potentially suggested needs to be done or considered or looked at that we need to review. So for example, if I were to go in here, I've now booked the meeting room, whereas now when I come out here in the pulse, I can see that it's now green, it's happy days, everything is going swimmingly, and there is still 2 updates. So again, I could jump in this pulse if I didn't know, and I could jump in here and I would easily be able to see that that I've called and booked an interview, and I've booked the meeting room, and this one is ready to go. Quite also, maybe one of my favorite features for people who love talking through GIFs or emojis is the ability. If you look here, you're able to see that we have some Monday ones where we talk about the process of what we're doing and answering through GIFs. You know, quite a popular one around our office. If you can't answer with an Olsen, O-L-S-E-N, I can spell. If you can't answer with an Olsen twin, who knows what you can do. All kinds of different opportunities through the Monday platform to be able to find a better way to communicate. Maybe I don't have the information to be able to process Steve Jobs's application here for employment. So I'm going to send a quick notice across to Daniel in my team to say, hey Daniel, you know, in this case, we've left it as Daniel's email address for the process of our demo, but that could be Daniel, that could be DH is in initials, or it could be his nickname or anything like that, whatever you decide to make there. And, you know, can you help on this one? Again, a really cool feature, which I'll show you in a moment. Again, updates really valuable. Completely get yourself out of the email inbox. Also, which is really cool, is these info boxes. Again, you have the ability to, you know, add notes in here, which you can sort of come back to later. It might be a bit more extended. You might post your note as an update. You know, note 1, for example. A long update might be in here, you know, really quite self-explanatory. Obviously, that note's going to sit there. It's going to show in the, it's not going to show in the updates unless you tick the box. But if you come in here to get more information about this pulse, you'll be able to see that. You can add files, and the best part about the file is you know, you can add a file directly from your computer, but you can also integrate with something like a Google Drive, just for examples purposes, where you can load those files in here. You've got the ability to have all of those files again quickly and easily accessible. So when we're talking about that efficiency, we don't need to go across to Google Drive and find the file and read up on the file. In our Pulse, we've got the updates, we've got the file. Again, let's get out of the email inbox. Maybe we're asking a question and answer list and preparing for some Q&As, or question 1, for example, answer 1, and then that answer is always there. So if you've got commonly asked questions, you can already have that in here. Again, a central location, which is centric around 90% of what is going to happen with this particular pulse. All right, glad to see you're all still with me. We've been able to do that. The last thing I want to show you on this pulse particular is if we want to group move them. So say we've now worked with Steve Jobs and Marla, and we've decided that now, you know what, actually these guys aren't ready, or we've just conducted all of our phone interviews, they're all done, I was really lazy, I've only got 2 pulses in here, but let's say we need to make them all change to go. So instead of individually clicking each phone interview and changing it to go, simply change one, it's going to update all of the pulses for us. It's going to move everything back to whatever it may be. And it can then also say we now need to move it up. These people are no longer, they might not be relevant right now, they'll be relevant in the future. So we've moved them down here. Again, a really easy way to be able to mass select, mass move, mass adjust. We're able to, you know, collapse it. So say we don't want to see, or of course we want to see who's in progress. We found these people aren't relevant, so we don't need to see who's not relevant. There's 3 people that we now know aren't relevant, but we're able to get that out of our mind. Again, this is nice to have, but we don't need it right now. All we're focused on is the people that we're currently in progress. Again, fully customizable there for you to be able to, you know, work through whatever may be best. You can duplicate the group altogether, which is wonderful. So you don't need to recreate the same format. This format down here is going to continue across the whole board. Really, really simply for that searchability and connection ability. We can delete the group, or we can archive the group. Again, a lot of people love the export to Excel feature. We can change the color, we can rename it. We can move it to a different board, accidentally created in the wrong one, or say your process is actually multi-board. So maybe your you have a recruitment team, for example, who takes the first component of this process, but then you need to pass over to your HR department to induct them. So you might be moving their pulse from recruitment board into the HR board, whatever it may be. But again, you can do that. And it's all really self-explanatory and really simple. You're looking for simple buttons. You can duplicate it, you can move it, as I said, and you can also obviously add another group of pulses here from there in the drop down, or up the top here as well. I'm just going to quickly go through and just allocate these to different people. Obviously up here as well is one of the great features of the board. If you say you're on a phone call from Seth and he's asked for an update, we can see here, maybe we're not meant to update that. That might be, you know, in the thing or in the updates. Don't update Seth yet. So, you know, phone calls taken, you can come in here. Oh, found Seth. Oh, he's not relevant. Oh, there's a comment there. I might check that before providing him with the information, whatever it may be. You can also filter your board. So say, for example, all I want to do right now is I want to see JT was meant to tell people who weren't capable of coming back. That's a bad one. I'll pick Mitchell because he's got more people. And Mitchell was meant to tell everybody who's a no-go that they're not coming. So I can filter this board out now, and I could go through here and check to see, yep, okay, there's notes in here. Mitchell hasn't done what he said he'd do, or he has done what he said he's do. These are all the examples. Let me just quickly show you another example out here. So for example, we've marked this, you know, due on the 30th, we'll mark this due on the 7th, we'll mark this due at the start of the month, we'll mark this due on the 31st. I want to see everything that is due this week. Up comes all the ones that are due this week. I want to see everything that's overdue. I want to see who hasn't done what they said they're going to do. In this case, you know, I'm going to go and speak to Dan, who's decided to upload a video, a picture while we're on this webinar. But I'm going to go and speak to Dan and see why this was due on the 2nd of March, but the cleaning still hasn't been done yet. And again, I can clear that out, and now I've got the whole board there back, ready and available. Likewise, I can just see my own tasks by putting that filter in as well. But this is one of our favorite features in Monday because you have that great ability. Again, we put tags in before, so I just want to see something that's potentially tagged to VIP or something along those lines, or warranty job, or you might have funding or priority numbers, or whatever it may be. You can use that function. Again, it really helps you to just see a really good view of what it is that you need to know when you need to know it. Again, using the timeline feature, what is current, what's on schedule, what is upcoming, and if we had anything overdue, again, we'd be able to look at what is old. You can also filter by cleanliness. So these are all the ones that are working on it. You might have an escalation option, all of those different options. And it would find an easy way for you to be able to handle that. And that is the overall simplicity of the board, using updates, checklists. You know, the other thing I could have shown you, and I should have, I overlooked it. You actually are able to update your board using email. So if you're crazy and you still want to use the email, you're able to do that. So you could, for example, simply copy and paste this link into your email provider, and if you're emailing one of your connections to it, your email or whatever you wrote in the email will then pop up in this update. So that part is valuable for a lot of our customers. because it means they're not having to copy and paste or check back, but Monday always has that up-to-date information. You can actually update a pulse. You can update the status of the pulse using email as well. Again, not a popular feature with most of our customers, but it is possible if you really want to stay in your email. Our customers love more than anything, reducing their reliance on email. But it is another opportunity for you to do that. If we were to set up teams, so before here where I was at mentioning Dan before, if I wanted to set up, I'll come back to that in a second. If I wanted to set up teams, I can do that. I'll run you through that later on in the demo, which I want to keep on time for you all. But I will show you that. So again, say you've got a marketing team, for example, you can load all those marketing users into that one team, and then instead of individually mentioning the 6 members of your marketing team, you're able to just mention marketing and then potentially have all of those join on in and see the information. Up the top here, back to our search possibilities. Again, one of the ones that I always get reminded of by my staff is when I've been mentioned and didn't reply. We're not going to get any in this one, obviously, because no one's mentioned me, although if Dan's paying attention, I'm sure he can potentially mention me in a board, so I can show that feature again in a second. You can quickly look back through to see what you've been assigned to. And again, it's going to look across every board and show you all of the activities which we're asking for you to have had done, or your staff. The search everything feature is extremely popular with our customers because it helps immensely. Again, if you've got tags across boards, it can bring up all your VIP customers, or all of your customers who are in your 100 club, or all of your stakeholders that are that important to you, whatever it may be. You can further filter that by, I just want to look at files. I just want to see that there. I want to have a look at tags. It's going to bring all of that up for you. A really valuable search feature. And again, you can customize what comes up here. You can save your own searches if you create your own, or if you create recent searches, and you're able to do that. Another really amazing feature with this cross search everything is you can then filter. So say I've got, I only want to see in here on the timeline feature, I'm only actually interested what happened last week, because I'm not ready for this week yet. You can filter that out, and obviously in this case, nothing's going to have happened. But all of the options which would have come up for you in that period of time will be there. So again, you can further choose how you filter. You might want to make that filter by quarters, for example. Or you might want to zoom in and do it by month. You might want to zoom in and spend a bit more detail by day. You have that ability to really find a great way to filter out. You can search what you've archived. There's a lot of functionality centric around the searches there. Up the top here, we have our notifications bell. Dan proving that he is still working, even though I'm not watching over his shoulder, of course. Wonderful to have Dan online and paying attention. We've got here the ability for that. So I've just seen that task. Now, if I obviously go back, that's going to come into my inbox as well. And now if I should show you on my own, because lots come up. If I were to go into here and search across the board, all I have to do to clear that is simply, reply to Dan and show him how shocked I am, which is wonderful. We'll use a GIF to do that. Very, very simple, very, very simple to use, but not simplistic. Nothing is the right way with Monday. There is just your way. And that's what's a really benefit for a lot of our customers is instead of making a system fit them, instead of making them fit the system, this system will fit them. Again, a real great way to do that. You can move across the boards. You can do all kinds of wonderful, wonderful different things through Monday. Let me just quickly keep moving. We've taken you over a lot of the things. What have I got to show you? Fantastic. Let's look at some of a little bit more in depth here. Over here, we've got all of our team members. So I'm the only one that's obviously subscribed to get updates on this board at the moment. But it wouldn't be hard to enable others to get some updates. Simply add them in there like that. All the activity on this board is here. So, if you're worried about who's changed this, someone said it was done, who said it was done, you have your log here, which has all on the activity changes. Likewise, any updates that have been commented on, I picked the board with no updates. That wasn't too smart. But any updates, it's a simple log that has all the information in there for you. So again, finding the information you need is never too much. The hamburger menu, this is the next part of working with that. You can add groups of pulses. You can change your board permissions, so everyone can change everything. Everyone can comment, edit, and only owners can change the structure, or only owners can make any changes on the board, for example. So this one here might be something that you have, and again in the top corner here of the board, it shows you exactly where that is and what that's up to. Board subscribers, if you want to go the long way, you can go through there as well. Email preferences, so how much information and what email preferences do you have? Again, for me, I'm the kind of person who doesn't want emails, so all my emails are switched off, and I use the notifications and the inbox component of the Monday platform to get all of my updates and know what is happening. A really, really important function. You can have daily updates, you can have none at all, whatever your preference is. You can duplicate the board altogether. Again, say you're talking about an overall process, you can just duplicate the structure, but you can also duplicate the content. So say, there's many different reasons to do that. If you have a look here, we've got a duplication. We've just duplicated the structure. We haven't written in any of the actual tasks. They haven't come along with it. But what we can do is, on the other hand, say we wanted to look at all the information that was in this board, we would have the ability to not just to duplicate that, but we'd also duplicate it. And as you can see, all of the updates, obviously they're not relevant to the new pulses here, so they haven't brought the updates across, but all of the tasks, who was assigned to them, and the phases they're at are done. Let's say we need to set this to back to default, back to start. We simply select, and we're able to use that bulk actioning ability. Really, really great feature as well. Again, say you've accidentally put it in the boards, but all of a sudden this was a really important process to your external stakeholders, and you want to share that. The system, of course, is going to remind you that actually now you are going to be sharing this with people outside your organization. Are you sure you want to do that? We've now got a shareable board. Some people love Excel and they need to see the data in different ways. You can export this whole board to Excel. You can print directly from this screen as well. You can move to full screen, and you're also able to archive pulses and groups, or groups of pulses. You can have a look. We haven't archived any in this one at the moment, but you can access it through there. Again, if you don't want to delete it, quite simply, you can archive it there, and then say you needed to go back and see that. You can come back here, you can see that. You can restore it and put it back in your board as well. Of course, you can fully delete the board if you so desire. Again, we recommend against that with our clients, obviously, because if you do the next step, which is just as easy, that board will be archived, and there is actually ways that you can obviously then get that back from a settings perspective. Okay. Down here, the bulk down the bottom, it makes it easy if you have, if you're like us and you have several different boards, and you know exactly what board you want to go to, and you want to switch directly to that board, you can use the bulk switch to take you right there without having to find where it is in your list. Really, really wonderful. Again, organizing different items, you can have a folder where you can have all of your different boards in there. Again, maybe not so relevant, and you can open and close that again to make searching easier for you. We've gone through the search everything function, which is wonderful. Lastly, I think the last quick thing I want to take you through before I throw open and answer some of your questions and give you guys the opportunity to ask some more is our little avatar at the top here. Obviously, you can edit your profile. It's easy. You can put in your title here. You can add your email. You can put your phone number in. You can do all kinds of things. You can on the Pro plan, you can actually change what is put in here if you need that. You're able to type in to make it quicker. All of those type of things. If we had teams, they would be displayed here. You can add your birthday information, working anniversaries, all kinds of things. Update your password, self-explanatory. This is a really, really valuable part here. The desktop notifications pops up in your corner over here, for example. You can decide what emails you get. So if someone assigns you a pulse, do you want to know about it via email? If they reply to it, if they sign up after you invite them, all kinds of things that you can choose Again, in my profile, I have all these unticked because I prefer to use Monday as my platform. But again, you can fully customize those options there. They give you several options. And as I said, you can actually update your pulses on email if you so desire. And again, a really simple way of doing that is through this process here. You can, of course, add a display picture as well. And like you saw Dan, who did that during the call, it displayed on there. Upgrade your account, obviously. You can change all the settings here through the admin for your profile as well. You can change your account name at any time. You can change your slug so it matches whatever you prefer. You can set little things like what's the first day of the week, whether you want to show the weekend on your timelines because you work them or not. This is where you customize the platform. So replace this Monday logo up the top here with your own. You can put your own logo on emails. You can put inspirational quotes on emails for your company, whatever you'd like to do. You have the full ability to customize that. If you're cranky and aren't all cool and hip, you can turn off GIFs if you really want to. You can set your board defaults. So again, it's going to default come to you with done working on it. But if you have the same status requirements, you can set that here. And every time you do create that new board, it will default to those labels that you've already created. And like I was telling you before, you're able to actually customize what is created in your profile. And you can say whether you require it or not, or whether it's optional. Teams, like I was saying here, enabled users have popped in here. You can have a look at all members, people who you've disabled, people who aren't guests, and people who are guests. Obviously, guests meaning people who jump in here into your shareable boards and can see what you share with them or decide to share with them. Who your admins are, pretty simple. And you can obviously change who owns the board at any time, or who owns your account at any time. Security, again, very important to a lot of people. You can set up authorized domains. You can automatically allow people with a particular domain name to sign up as a user in your Monday platform. You can enforce a password policy. You can talk about having a two-step authentication. Obviously, everyone needs to use their email, and you can have that Google Authenticator, obviously, as well as 2 steps. You have, if you're looking to upgrade and the real extended audit process is really important to you on our enterprise plan, you are able to do that. And likewise, advanced security is a part of that plan. As I said, Monday has an immense ability to automate key tasks, and you're able to use the Monday API. And if you are interested in some of those automations, you're able to look at developers.monday.com, but it does give you powerful abilities to be able to really supercharge your Monday experience. Of course, your billing, it'll show you here exactly what plan you're on, let you upgrade, how many team members, how many guests, how many people are being billed, how many free users you have, any of your existing invoices, and of course you can load your payment methods and cards and see everything you need in here. The simplicity of basic statistics, and here to show you what's happening in your business at a glance, and of course see where you're up to with your storage, depending on what plan you're at, depending on what you need to do, and a tidy up. So as you can see, we have plenty of boards. We might want to archive some, we might want to see the pulses of others, and like I said, if you have archived them, you can actually restore them from the archive boards section as well. So pretty simple. But of course, if you need to upgrade as well, you can upgrade through here. There's several integrations. The recycling bin, it'll keep anything you delete for 30 days, just in case, as the screen shows, you have a change of mind. You can access that via the avatar as well. You can invite your team members. You can get help by clicking the avatar or the little question mark down the bottom here from the Monday guys. Lodging a support ticket, getting started videos, all those type of things. If you're like us and have multiple Monday accounts, you can switch your accounts via this way, and of course you can log out. You're not going to miss how to upgrade. There's a big blue upgrade button in the top right corner, and that, folks, is a real quick and easy run through of why Monday is absolutely wonderful, why it's simple but not simplistic, and hopefully it's giving you a quick dive and insight into what that will be. I hope I've been able to inspire your love of Monday as much as we do here at JT's Cloud. And as I said, we're here to help you. If you need anything, feel free to give us a call, send us an email, and we'd love to talk you through Monday. Thanks so much for tuning in, folks.